Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media users found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings.
Hey everyone, I hope you're all keeping well. So thank you very much for everyone that commented about Chia in the last video. It's such a relief to know that she is doing absolutely fine. She is as daft as ever. I'm going to show you a quick clip here. This is her latest game. I'll quickly explain it to you. She lies on the floor. You throw a ball to her. She doesn't catch the ball. Complete weirdo. This is the laziest game of, I can't even call it fetch really. Dogs are such weirdos. Now this video is going to be a combination talking about archetypes and then obviously the Invictus Games, because there's lots of stories that have come out. In fact, I think we've been inundated every day with something new coming from Harry's and Meghan's camp to do with the Invictus Games. It's one surefire way to make the Invictus Games the Harry and Meghan show. But I will come to that after Archetypes. So Archetypes is obviously Archwell. Meghan's done a take on stereotypes, so archetypes. But archetypes is a word that's been in the English language for a fair few centuries. Now, if I look up the dictionary's meaning of archetypes, it says a typical example of a certain person or thing, or it can be a primitive mental image inherited from the earliest human ancestors present in the collective unconsciousness. The concept can be a statement, patterns of behaviour and objects. Copy, emulate or merge into. Copy, emulate, merge into. Well, we know Meghan likes to plagiarise. Now, there's lots of issues that have come from this because she's decided to trademark it. Now, Caroline Myss is the first one that came up as predominantly talking about archetypes, but there is Carl Jung, the professor, part of his psychological concept, where he discussed the persuasive idea of an image or a word that can collectively form part of a consciousness. So Caroline Myss's book, it came up that it was a New York Times bestseller. It delves into the world of archetypes, the subject of her work for more than 25 years. Archetypes are universal patterns of behaviour that once discovered can help you better understand yourself and your place in the world. Use the knowledge to make conscious decisions about everything from careers to relationships, avoiding common pitfalls while playing up to your strengths. So then we read basically Meghan's blurb to do with her Archetypes podcast. Meghan will be investigating the labels that try to hold women back. She will speak with historians and experts to uncover the origin of these stereotypes and have uncensored conversations with women who know all too well how these typecasts shape our narrative. I mean, firstly, yeah, bit of a snore fest, really, isn't it? I mean, bearing in mind it was 2020 that they signed with Spotify. They have done one podcast since, and that involved lots of other celebrities. They even gave Archie a starring role, and that's still flopped in the charts and lost to whale noises. The wonderful music that whales make when they communicate to each other beat Meghan's and Harry's single podcast. So the £18 million Spotify deal that they got is looking pretty weak. And it refreshed my memory, and I'll read it to you. This is when they first signed with Spotify. Although the couple might live in California, but the power of their voices rests in their status, and as citizens of the world, they will produce content, they will produce content that entertains and uplifts audiences all around the world. Oh yeah, they're really setting the world on fire, aren't they? Bearing in mind this couple, when they left, the world was their oyster. They had millions of pounds. They had the favours of A-list celebrities. At the time when they left, remember, they had high-profile people coming out and speaking about them. They, again, have all kind of, it's tumbleweeds now, isn't it? Blowing in the wind. Everyone's gone quiet. The only people that you see promoting Harry and Meghan now on Instagram are the same people that are signed up to their same PR company, Sunshine Sacks. So given what a snore fest the one and only £18 million podcast that they did, needless to say, people are already slating this before she's even released one. She wants to trademark it, right? So she wants to define it. So Archetypes will be for podcasts, TV shows, entertainment services, all to do with the cultural treatment of women. Now, the issue that you've got here is there's lots of books out there on archetypes. There are loads of podcasts out there all to do with archetypes, which are loosely based on the same idea. So I think she's going to run into issues and lots of people arguing that she cannot make a claim to that word for archetypes to cover podcasts because there's too many people out there that have already done it. Now, moving on to the Invictus Games. Well, you would think that it was the Invictus Games, but they might as well rename it now to the Harry and Meghan show. That's no disrespect to the Invictus athletes. I wish them the absolute best of luck. I think that lots of athletes all around the world, they had this delayed due to COVID restrictions. So it's a very, very exciting event for them. But the media and Harry and Meghan drip feeding things to do with them has definitely taken the shine away from the athletes. So for those of you that are interested, here is Team GB. This is our team that are going out, and I will make sure that when I do my videos next week that I will include coverage of the Invictus Games, because I'm pretty sure the media is only going to be interested in what Meghan's wearing. Now, this isn't just Meghan, this is Harry included. Harry did a promotional video for Invictus. So what does he do? He strips off, which, I mean, it was a full Monty from hell, really. He, dressed up like he was being tangoed. Yes, I do know, and I have covered it, that the colours are to do with the Netherlands, to do with the royal family. But it's the fact that he did some weird stripogram. It just, still creeps me out. It's up there with the creepy Santa. We then had the announcements to do that Meghan's going. Well, that's great, but couldn't they have just done that as a surprise on the day? Because now all it did was make, Meghan's going. It's brought up the stories to do with their security. It's put them in the newspapers again. I think everyone is just bored of this. As I said, a lot of people have had enough of Harry, the fact that he showed the absolute ultimate disrespect by not getting on a plane and going to his grandfather's memorial. Bearing in mind, this was just the other week. So it's still very fresh with a lot of people. It was absolutely disgusting that he didn't go. I still can't believe that he didn't. For those of you that are saying, obviously, he didn't feel safe. Bullshit. He is going to the Netherlands. And again, this has been brought up, that the Dutch authorities are making sure that Harry and Meghan do actually have police protection whilst they are at the event. Bearing in mind that other Dutch royals will be there as well, although it's been reported that they won't be rolling out the red carpet for the ex-royal couple, who are, I'd imagine, across royal families all around the world, persona non grata, especially with a Netflix crew in tow. But obviously with this little bit of negative news going out that Harry and Meghan are not that important, they are not royal anymore, they will not be treated by the Dutch royals like they are. We had a story come out the next day. Harry and Meghan are not just VIPs, they're VVIPs. Yes, I kid you not, they are very, very important people. Or as I said, which I personally prefer, vengeful, vindictive, imperious plonkers. I think that should personally stick. So their PR obviously got out a counteractive story to go, the royal family are not going to welcome them because, they're obviously disgusted with their treatment of the Queen. Because the Dutch royals have got a close relationship with our royal family. Plus, I'm sure that they're probably not going to be too happy about a Netflix crew following them around. Royals don't do reality TV. So quickly, you could hear the screams from Montecito. We are important. We are very, very important. That's it. We're going to be very, very important people. The whole thing does just boil back down to their private security cannot carry guns. Harry cannot hire the police. So the Dutch government are providing armed security whilst they are at that event. Exactly the same as what the UK were going to do. And I'm going to say this one more time really loudly for the people at the back. Harry was going to get security. Harry and Meghan and their children would have had police protection whilst they were at the royal engagements and royal residences. They would not have had police protection if they wanted to go swanning off and go shopping at Harrods. They would not have had it if they wanted to visit Soho House. But whilst they would have been in the UK staying at any of the royal residences, including Frogmore Cottage, they would have had armed police security. So that's the last time I'm ever mentioning this. Now, as I said, the big difference is the Netflix film crew will be in tow. Is this the true reasons why they didn't go to Prince Philip's memorial? Because they couldn't film it? That, I cannot believe that they would go that low. I know there's that tiny little good angel still sitting there that's almost given up, but still going, no, it couldn't just be down to Netflix. But I don't know. I mean, my big devil's more like, yeah, it totally comes down to cold, hard cash with this couple. Speaking of which, it is rumoured, and I can only say rumoured because we don't have backup, but their travel expenses, you know, their private jets, their top-notch hotel stays, because they won't be staying with the Dutch royal family, just get that in there again, is all going to be paid for by Netflix. Now, I hope it is Netflix and not the Invictus Foundation, because that would be utterly disgusting. But if they are supposed humanitarians, this is how they try and market themselves. This is what their fan base try and tell the world, that Harry and Meghan are just humanitarians. They just want to make the world a better place. They are multi-millionaires. We already know that they've got those 11 shady companies dotted across Delaware in the tax haven. We know that they have got a lot of money. We know that they only have to give 5% of donations to actual charitable causes, and they can claim the rest on overheads. Why can't they pay for their own travel expenses? Netflix is already paying them 100 million, I think it was. I mean, who knows what's true really anymore. But true humanitarians would go to this event, pay for their own accommodation, pay for their own private jets. And as for the rumoured appearance fee, they would donate all of that to the Invictus Games. So I really hope we do get some clarity that comes out that Harry and Meghan donated every single penny to the Invictus Games. They also donated, again, what humanitarians would do, a couple of million to help keep the Invictus Games going. Because the last time that the Invictus Games got a massive donation from a member of the royal family, it was 500,000 from William and Catherine and the Royal Foundation. Yes, Harry's older brother that he hates and despises, who he has never even thanked once publicly. Catherine and William helped give £500,000 to the Invictus when it was struggling. Do you remember Harry and Meghan cancelled the huge, big LA concert that they were going to do, rumoured to have Beyonce playing, and it got cancelled because it was filmed for Amazon Prime and they just signed with Netflix. Now, this has obviously been thrown out there quite a lot. It was all to do with COVID restrictions, but I know which one I'm inclined to believe, as you are all entitled to believe which side of that story you choose. What's Harry done now as well? Oh, he's combined the Invictus Games with Better Up. Yes, that Silicon Valley huge multi-million-pound life coaching company is now paired up with the Invictus Games. It's been broadcast all over social media. So Harry, who has financial interest in Better Up, has now merged that with Invictus. Apparently Better Up are going to be offering their services for free to all of the veterans and their families, which is great. I'm sure it's great. A free service going to veterans. I'm sure they'll be clambering over themselves to pick up and get their very own life coach. Bearing in mind the Invictus Games is already part of a number of serious mental health charities. When I say serious, they have access to psychologists, to qualified psychotherapists, to people that specialise with PTSD. So they can actually medically assess what these families and the veterans themselves truly need. Life coaching isn't going to cut it. It's great for stress and burnouts, but that's when you look at their website, that's what they deal with, executive burnouts. It's not quite the same as people that have, obviously been shot at, lost loved ones, come back as double, triple amputees, people that have lost their sight, their families, the breakdown of the family environment. I will say that the Invictus Games already has a huge support network of actual real charities. So signing up Better Up just seems a little bit self-promoting of Harry. It's pretty obvious that Harry has sold his soul to the devil, or Netflix, or Meghan, whichever way you want to look at it. Harry has sold any bit of his character that was worthwhile, that he was liked for. Harry has left the building. But the problem is, because of his associations and because he's still got that dukedom, he's dragging down the royal family, but now he's also dragging down the Invictus. It's tainting the Invictus Games because of the stupid PR games and self-promotion that these two do for the Harry and Meghan show. In his promotion for the fact that Better Up have now teamed up with the Invictus Foundation, Harry stated, "The mind is a muscle. It needs to be honed. It needs to be trained, rehabbed and coached." All I can say on that matter is Harry's brain has certainly been honed in on, owned, rehabbed, trained and coached. And I don't think it's anything to do with Better Up, and possibly more to do with that wedding ring he got on his finger. So guys, that's it for me on this video. Obviously, I know there's going to be so much stuff that's going to come out over the weekend, but it's Easter. It's Easter weekend. So I wish all of you a very wonderful Easter break. I will be with you. I intend to do a video over the weekend. And I would say try not to eat too much chocolate, but that's part of the fun of Easter. So that's it for me, and I will see you very soon. Take care for now.
If you like my video, please remember to like and subscribe. Please, angry typists, you will be blocked, so save your fingers the time. If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.